Hello and welcome to July's Metastatic Breast Cancer podcast, where our theme for this month is still focused on my book Meditation with Intention, with foreword by Dr. Sadia Khan, director of our breast cancer survivorship program at Hoag and breast oncoplastic surgeon. And this month we focus on Intention 2, which is titled, I Let Go of Excuses. And in this chapter, we really delve into how you can commit to a daily meditation practice by letting go of excuses around time, fear, discipline, and perfection. We will break down simple ways so you can stop finding reasons not to meditate and instead begin to shift that narrative and commit to a daily practice that works. And it always amazes me to see how the commitment of a daily 5-minute meditation and mindfulness practice, which seems so small, has such a powerful and lasting effect. I have witnessed patients previously so dedicated to their daily drinking routine make radical changes to their relationship with alcohol. I have seen the effect that only 5 minutes of daily meditation has on changing people's relationship to toxic relationships and unhealthy lifestyle habits. When our relationship with ourselves is negative, we do not make positive choices, period. The name of this section has been my favorite phrase over the past few years, which is, you have 5 minutes to meditate. We have to learn to let go of the excuses we make about not having enough time. Time is one of our most precious commodities, and all of you living with metastatic breast cancer know that much more than I do. You can't bring it back, no matter how much money or resources you have. But on your deathbed, you are not going to recall all of the reasons for why you didn't do the things you wanted to, or all of the excuses you made. All you will remember is that your life was unfulfilled. The most common regret of people on their deathbeds is that they wish they'd had the courage to live a true life that honored themselves, that honored their own needs and wants and not everybody else's. And what we now know from interviews with people like this is they had not honored many of their dreams, and in their final moments realized that it was due to the poor choices made in the past. They also understand that no one else can be blamed, which can be the most difficult part to accept. After this, the dying person usually has a profound self-realization. They must come to peace with the fact that in life, they were their own worst enemy. That elusive sense of peace and happiness could not be found within, as they were too busy doing everything else. As they say, hindsight is valuable, and sometimes it is too late to rewind the clock and go back to change things. However, it's not too late for you to make the choice to spend your time engaged in practices such as meditation and mindfulness so you can find that peace and happiness and joy from within. And finding that 5 minutes in your day, which we talked about in last month's podcast and we talked about in our last mindfulness session, was letting go of any lingering excuses and finding time in your day to committing to that 5-minute meditation. Visualize yourself doing your 5-minute practice each morning. Think about setting your alarm 5 minutes earlier than your normal time, or perhaps you arrive at work 5 minutes earlier so you can complete the practice in your car or at your desk before your workday begins, or as you rise in the morning, for those of you that shared last time, committing to doing the practice within that first 30 minutes of waking. And believe that you have the power today to start reprogramming your mind away from excuses toward a greater commitment to your happiness and inner peace. My personal intention and mantra has not been why me, but instead why not me. You must first believe that you have the power to change your life before inner and outer transformation can really begin, even if the odds are stacked against you and success seems impossible. You have to believe in yourself first. If you are trying to manifest anything in your life and you don't really believe those things will happen due to deep-rooted insecurities, then quite simply they won't. Or they may occur and you get a fleeting glimpse of what things could be like in your life before it all goes upside down because your self-sabotaging thoughts rear their ugly head and ruin it all. Many people are unaware of the concept of thought as vibration. All of our thoughts actually have a vibration attached to them, so we therefore have the power to manifest our thoughts, good or bad, into reality. If your thoughts are positive, this power can be a blessing, but it feels more of a curse if they are mainly negative, as most people's tend to be. Could the constant negative thoughts be the reason you feel as though a dark cloud is hanging over you and bad things just seem to follow you wherever you go? Realize now that your thoughts become your reality. And the great news is that you have the power to control the direction of your thoughts and the flow of your life from negative to positive through meditation and mindfulness. As you all know, I work with many breast and ovarian cancer patients, both people with a high risk of developing cancer due to a genetic mutation, as well as those fighting cancer, surviving and thriving. Research shows that people with a more positive outlook to their cancer diagnosis and treatment do much better with chemotherapy and radiation versus those who have a more negative and fatalistic attitude. Our bodies pick up on what we tell it at a cellular level through our thoughts, good or bad, via our unique mind and body connection. We see on numerous occasions the power of the mind that has healed people from incurable diseases and given people the ability to walk again after being told they would spend the rest of their lives in a wheelchair. There are many other miraculous feats that people have achieved against all odds through mastery of their thoughts and minds. If you heal your mind, you can heal your body and your life. Learning to trust your intuition and be led from within is pivotal to this process, as is finding the strength to not give up when the going gets tough, which it inevitably will. It is staggering to think of how many people give up on themselves and their dreams because of barriers along the way. You can learn to tune in through meditation and mindfulness, and if your instincts are guiding you forward, to trust them and not be deterred by any obstacles that cross your path. I have learned more and more over time to become guided from within, and it is amazing how the obstacles are cleared away. Obstacles can also be placed in our way to guide us on a different path, perhaps one we would never have gone down if we hadn't started our journey with meditation in the first place. Now we have to focus on letting go of fear of tradition. We must first let go of any fear we may have around embracing traditions and cultures that are different to our own. True beauty lies in diversity, and the wonderful thing about meditation is that even though the practice's roots are in Vedic philosophy and Hinduism, they are non-denominational. No matter what your religious beliefs or faith may be, you can use these practices and build them into your own life. In fact, many of these faiths have a meditative aspect to their prayer practices. They just call it by a different name. The point of meditation is that we are connecting to a higher source outside of ourselves. You can call this whatever you want, or what makes you feel most comfortable, whether that name is God, the universe, light, spirit, source, and so on. Whatever you want to call this higher power is your choice. Don't let that be the deterrent of why you are not meditating. You don't have to put a label on it. You can incorporate meditation and mindfulness into your life in the way that serves you best. Another important aspect is letting go of perfection. If you don't meditate because you feel you don't do it right, let that go. Perfection isn't the goal. Failure is a necessary part of the journey towards success. Speak to any super successful person and they will tell you this themselves. You may not succeed the first time you try or the 10th time, and this may even relate to your meditation practice. Making mistakes is part of the journey, as without the mistakes that you make along your path and the learning that comes from picking yourself up after you stumble or fall, sometimes falling flat on your face, you don't learn the valuable lessons you need to that make you stronger and more resilient. If you feel as though you have hit rock bottom, welcome that feeling instead of resisting it. The only way forward is up. We may avoid meditation because we don't want to be reminded of things we are resisting. But meditation and mindfulness helps to remind us of this path, teaching us how to tune in and actually listen to what intuition tells us rather than just drown it out, and rather than not trust that voice from within. The more you are able to learn to surrender and actually follow your guidance from within, the more you are able to realize your truth and let it guide your life, even if everyone around you tells you something different. Meditation is not about striving for perfection, but about embracing our own imperfections with humility, love, and non-judgment. I am not perfect at these three things all the time, but I am certainly doing much better as a direct result of my meditation and mindfulness practice. It isn't necessary to become a monk to have a meditation practice that works, nor must you experience some tragedy that leads you down a path of self-realization. And I really want you this month to let go of the meditation image. If your excuse not to meditate is that you aren't the right type of person for it, let that go. Meditation is for everybody, not just the self-help, addict, vegan, warrior, and yoga pant-wearing green juice drinker. If we are honest, this is in fact what turns many people off the practice, as they feel they have to look or act a certain way in order to be accepted or for their practice to be taken seriously. Note to self here, your meditation practice is for you. You do not need to justify it or explain it to anybody else. It is your truth and your practice. And we'll be discussing this a lot more in our mindfulness group for the metastatic breast cancer community coming up in July. We'll also be exploring how we can cultivate further commitment and exploring how we can really let go of excuses that are holding us back from not just meditation, but anything in our lives. I wish you all a safe and blessed month ahead, and I hope that you're enjoying meditation with intention.